Well, hello and welcome back, everybody. Welcome to Travel Adventures Tuesday evening show. How is everybody doing on this beautiful Tuesday? Did you guys had a great 4th of July? I had a great 4th of July. We were celebrating our 250th year. Can you believe it? America was celebrating 250th birthday. So how you guys doing? And welcome in. If for those of you that are coming new to the channel, my name is Jackie. I am a travel advisor. I work for Expedia Cruises. So if you want to travel, call me and let me know. All my information is down below. You can call me and reach me out that way. For those of you that have been here for a while, welcome back, everybody. This is our show tonight. And we are in Alaska season. We've been selling a lot of Alaska. There's a lot of my clients traveling to Alaska right now. So what a better way to talk about Alaska, Seattle versus Vancouver. And you might ask, why Seattle and Vancouver? Because those are the two major ports of calls where people travel to Alaska. They either fly from the United States to Vancouver or from the United States to Seattle. And then from there, they can go to Alaska. So there's different ways of going there. So, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So hopefully you guys buckle up and enjoy this show because we're going to be talking about all things Alaska season, and it's funny because I have not been to Alaska, but I do have a booking for Alaska next year. I was supposed to go to Alaska this year, and actually I was supposed to go in the month of June, which it was last month, and I ended up having to cancel that because, as you guys know, my daughter's getting married in December, and I was going to be traveling with her, so we ended up having to cancel, and we moved it to next year. So next year we're going to do Alaska. But I have seen so many great vlogs out there. I've been checking out some new vlogs that are coming out. People that have been traveling to Alaska, and Alaska looks great. I can't wait to actually go there and actually be able to see it for myself. Because one of the vloggers that I was watching, I don't know if you guys know them, but they are Ordinary Adventures. And Kitra and Peter were actually on one of the Disney cruises going to Alaska, and it was their first time. And I could see how, and it's kind of strange because everybody that goes to Alaska for the first time, they have that same kind of like vibe, like, oh my God, how come I've never been here before? So I'm looking forward to one day experiencing and feeling that emotion of seeing Alaska for the first time. So with that being said, this is what our show is all about today, is our Alaska season. And we're going to be talking about two of the major ports of calls where a lot of our cruise passengers travel from, Seattle and Vancouver. So, and welcome in, Mustard Drill. And hello to everybody that's out there that is watching the show that do not comment. Thank you guys for always being here and always, being part of the show. Even if you don't comment, I always appreciate you watching our show. For those of you that are going to be watching the replay, hopefully you guys enjoy it. And thank you so much for watching the replay on, whenever you have a little bit of extra time. So, oh my God, where to start? So we're going to start at the port of Seattle, guys. Let's start at Seattle. And the reason why I want to start in Seattle is because that's the port that we're going to be leaving from next year. A lot of my clients says, when is the best time to visit Alaska? Well, for those of you that don't know, Alaska, the season starts the end of April, like mid-April, and goes sometimes all the way to the beginning of October. Sometimes it ends in the end of September, and it goes, or might go on the first or might second week of October, depending the cruise line you're traveling with. That's the only Alaska season. After that, you're going to have to wait till next year in April when the Alaska season starts all over again. But Seattle and Vancouver, even though that both of these are stunning Pacific Northwest hubs, but they cater to different lifestyles, right? So Seattle is more of a bustling tech and, the powerhouse with higher salaries, making it ideal for career growth in that area. And Vancouver offers a highly walkable, diverse, and exceptional scenic environment right by the mountains, though it has a steeper cost of living. So a little bit about Seattle. I'm going to give you a little bit about Seattle. I'm going to give you some highlights about Seattle and some about Vancouver because we're going to be talking about these two. And it's just a little bit of information so that you guys can know a little bit about the different ports and the different areas, what to do and not to do in those ports. So when I was looking at the information and gathering some information in Seattle, If you're ever planning on moving to Seattle, the job market is the home of the giants like Amazon is there, and Microsoft offering the higher tech and corporate salaries. Taxes, Washington has a state income tax, making it better for financial fit and high earners. The attractions feature the spots like Pike's Place Market and the Space Needle. For those of you that have never been to Seattle, like I have never been, I do want to go to Pike's Place Market and the Space Needle is one of the places that I want to actually visit whenever I go to Seattle. And those are the two places where I guess most of the people visit when they're visiting there in the Seattle area, especially Pike's Place. A little bit that I actually found Amazon, I believe they have their first market store there where you can just walk in and it's a cashless store. You can go buy whatever it is that you buy. I don't know how that it really works or how it charges to your account. I'm going to guess is a Prime thing. I don't know. But they do have a cashless store there. And I believe Starbucks generated in Seattle, I believe that's the first Starbucks there as well, which is one of the most popular Starbucks in that area. The vibe in Seattle is casual, tech centric, and surrounded by Mount Rainier, and the Cascade of the Mountains. So if this is something that maybe you're interested in possibly checking out, Seattle, then these are the things that you will find there in Seattle. A little bit of the Vancouver highlights. They have a beautiful scenery, often called the Hollywood North. Its dramatic mountain back skyline and Stanley Park make a visual striking. The lifestyle there is highly diverse, offering amazing international cuisines and a dense, carefree, friendly downtown. They even put some healthcare in here information for you. The Canadian Universal Healthcare is major draw for the residents, and the cost is significantly higher cost of living and notoriously expensive housing and real estate market there in Vancouver. So yeah, so there you guys have the information. These are the highlights in Vancouver. So being that we're talking about Vancouver, I'm going to give you some more information as to the Vancouver area and whether Vancouver, BC, or Seattle, Washington is better. It depends entirely on your lifestyle priorities. Vancouver offers unmatched natural beauty, a higher standard of public transit, and universal healthcare, while Seattle provides a booming tech economic and high salaries and larger variety of professional sports and entertainment. The cost of living and money, depending on, when you're going to Seattle, is the taxes and salary, the daily expenses, like everything else, the housing market. And this is something if you're thinking of one day, possibly maybe moving that way. The scenery is one of the coolest things when I was reading about Vancouver. The scenery is nature. They have a lot of nature over there, while both are renowned for the Pacific Northwest beauty. Vancouver wins its natural scenery in proximity of the North Shore Mountains and its sprawling, accessible waterfront parks like the Stanley Park. The outdoors versus the urban lifestyle. Seattle is a highly energetic urban feel shaped by its booming and technology environment, while the Vancouver feels a slight more relaxed, outdoorsy, oriented and uniquely European with no downtown freeways. A little bit about the diversity. Vancouver boasts one of the most ethnically diverse population in North America with a rich array of multicultural neighborhoods and dining options. The transit in Vancouver, the SkyTrain is widely regarded as superior of Seattle's transit system, offering smooth, highly developed access across the metro area. Traffic, both suffer from severe traffic bottlenecks, but Seattle generally ranks higher for longer commute times and worse traffic congestion overall. A little bit about the culture and entertainment, like foods and coffees and things like that. The Seattleites are exceptionally proud of their rich, independent coffee culture. However, Vancouver offers some of the best Asian cuisine outside of Asia. A little bit about the entertainment if you're visiting one or the other. Seattle is the home major of the sports leagues, NFL, MLB, and NHL, and massive tech and pop culture events like Emerald City Comic Con. Vancouver lacks these major U.S. sports franchise, but massive film in the television hub and often dubbed in the Hollywood North. The local often discuss the trade-offs of his platform like Reddit, where opinions are heavily mixed, and you can also review specific relocation and tourism breakdown via that adventure. And so these two cities offer you two different situations and different feels when you're traveling. I don't know how many of you guys have actually gone to Alaska. If you have, you can put it down in the comments. If you have gone to Alaska, if you've gone out of Seattle, what is it that you did? What would you recommend doing? That way, if you put the comments in, then, it's there for everybody else to see. I know of a couple of things that I want to do when I go to Seattle. I'm still trying to figure out what are the best excursion offers that they have in Alaska and in Seattle when I go. So, when I was reading these two different places, Vancouver and Seattle, if you are ever traveling there, I would suggest we have a couple of different, how would I say it, hotels that we can find. And I actually put some here. Hold on, let me find it because I actually had a little list of hotels in Alaska. So in the Vancouver area, if you're planning on staying in Vancouver, like the night or 2 nights prior to your cruise, you have the Pan Pacific Vancouver. Just keep in mind that Pan Pacific hotel is a little bit more on the expensive side, but it also has its perks because it's inside the terminal. And the perks that they have, that not only that you could stay there, they can take your luggage from the hotel to the cruise line. So, and then you can just go and do what you got to do around Vancouver and then come back and just get on the ship. So that's one of the coolest perks they have for the Pan Pacific Vancouver. If that's something that you're maybe planning on possibly looking into, if you're flying out of Vancouver, or actually if you're cruising out of Vancouver, I'm sorry. They also have the Fairmont Waterfront there and the Fairmont Pacific Rim and the Marriott Pinnacle Hotel Harborfront. Those are the two major hotels that I recommend when traveling from that area. From Seattle, you have the Hyatt in the downtown area there. And then you have, I think the other one that it was really good to also stay. Let me see if I could find the name of that hotel. Hold on, because I had it here. And for some reason, I lost that information. Okay, so you have the Hilton downtown area, and then you have the Hyatt is the other one, which is also called the Grand Hyatt Seattle. That one is also a really good area to stay in. You have also the Seattle Marriott Waterfront, the Edgewater Hotel, and the Astra Hotel in Seattle. So a little bit about these they're also closer to the Pier 66 and Bell Street Terminal near the downtown Pier 91. So these three hotels that the last three ones, the Seattle, the Edgewater, and the Astra, are near the ports of Pier 66 and Pier 91. So it's a little bit closer to your Seattle port. And the Pier 66 is where the New Regent and the Oceana ships dock from. Pier 91 is Carnival, Celebrity, Holland America, Princess, and Royal Caribbean sail out of 91. So the Astra Hotel is going to be closer to Pier 91. And then the Seattle Marriott and Hilton and Hyatt and the Edge is going to be closer to Pier 66. So these hotels, bring you different types of vibe, but they're also one of the mainly hotels that people will stay when traveling and going into Seattle. So keep that in mind, when you are traveling in that area. These are the kind of like the hotels where everybody usually stay. I'm going to be staying at the Hilton downtown when I go. to Seattle. So it's already been booked and ready to roll. So that's where I will be staying. Um, when choosing between Seattle and Vancouver, it depends on your trips and your priority. Seattle is better if you're looking for budget friendly logistics with no passport requirement for US citizen. So keep that in mind because you can, if you're a US citizen, you can just fly from wherever to Seattle, get on the cruise ship because Alaska is part of the United States. But if you're traveling out of Vancouver, you do need your passport for that. So Vancouver is a better choice for scenic cruising, a smoother ride, and a deeper Alaskan itineraries. So if that's what you're looking for something a little bit different, if you've already been to Alaska and you want to do something different, then maybe you want to go out of the port of Vancouver to have a little bit more of a scenic and a deeper Alaskan itineraries. So if you choose Seattle, if you want an easier logistic, it offers cheaper direct US flights and highly budget friendly. You want to a closed loop perks. US citizens on the round trip itineraries can sail without a passport using a birth certificate and a government ID if you don't have a passport. But guys, as a travel advisor, I do suggest you always travel with your passport and travel insurance, no matter what, because you never know. If you prefer an open ocean sailing, the route navigates to open Pacific Ocean before entering Alaska water. If you're choosing out of Vancouver, you can prioritize the scenery and wildlife like scenic cruising through the calm, protected Canadian Inside Passage, begin one on day one. And you are prone to a little bit of seasickness, the Inside Passage offers much calmer waters than an open ocean. Um, so if you want an itinerary with variety, Vancouver is the main hub for luxury lines like Silver Seas, Seabourn, and a one-way Gulf of Alaska cross cruises. So it just depends like where you guys are traveling from and how are you wanting to travel from, between these two places. Um, Give me a second. Let me find. I don't know, for some reason. Here we go. For some reason, all of my stuff that I had is just kind of like weird how it looks. Okay. So some of you guys, when we travel on cruises, we purchase like shore excursions and different things like that. So weirdly so, guys, there are different types of excursions, whether you're going Vancouver or out of Seattle. So choosing between Seattle and Vancouver excursion depends primarily on the travel convenience, itinerary preferences, and border crossing readiness. Seattle offers, like I said, cheaper flights, no passport convenience for US citizens, while Vancouver provides immediate access to scenic calm waters and the Inside Passage. Since we're talking about Alaska, Seattle departure is usually best if you want to avoid like the passport requirements for closed loop sailings, and if you want to, typically the people that go to Seattle have to stop in Victoria, even if it's for a couple of hours. Versus the Vancouver departures, I favor more, their Inside Passage. But now, if you're doing land and regional excursions, Seattle offers urban explorations that are easier to access from downtown piers such as Pike's Place, Space Needle, and Chihuly Gardens and Glass. Whale watching tours operated are there. You often have travel north about 60 miles to San Juan Island, orca habitats. In Vancouver, known for immediate access to spectacular nature, you can explore Stanley Park and the Capilano Suspension Bridge Park, or take day trips to Whistler, Vancouver, and Victoria, so are much closer to the prime Pacific orca habitats, allowing you faster, more direct marine wildlife tour. I don't know how many of you guys have been on an Alaska cruise, and kind of like, what is it that you have done when you've gone to Alaska? I know that the day that I go to Alaska, I want to actually be able to do some whale watching. I actually seen that helicopter tour. I don't know how many of you guys have actually done something like that. If you have, put it in the comments. Let me know what you think, because I'm actually looking into that. There's a lot of really cool different things to do, like the dog sledding over there. They have a bear sanctuary that you can go and check out the bears, the eagles, and the beavers and things like that. But I've also looking at other people's blog, you can actually see like whales and dolphins and all sorts of little like seals and things like that in the ocean. While you're traveling, going to like from Juneau to Ketchikan and the different places. Upon arriving like to Juneau, Ketchikan, Sitka, and all these amazing, beautiful places in Alaska, all of these stops have something very different to offer you. Some of the ports are a little bit bigger than others. Some of them will offer you a little bit more than others. As what I've seen when I was doing my research in Alaska. So keep in mind, it just depends. How many times have you been to Alaska? Do you just go to Alaska just for the feels, or do you go to Alaska to do different types of excursions and things like that? Yeah, let me know in the comments because I would love to know your feedback and kind of like if you have done it, what have you done? What is it that you guys like? Because I would love to know because I'm getting ready to go next year and I would like to get some info, as to what is it that I can do in Alaska as well. That's the reason why this topic was a whole lot, of information because, I'm going over them. So I'm trying to get ready for Alaska, trying to figure out what is the best excursions to do. And guys, let me tell you, these excursions are very hefty pricing. There's some excursion that cost $500-$600 per person to do. So keep that in mind when budgeting for Alaska, because Alaska is not cheap. It's kind of like going to Europe, because Europe, their excursions are way more expensive than they are for the Caribbean. That's one of the things that I noticed. But the difference between Alaska and Europe when I went was that the excursions in Europe were longer. The Alaska excursions that maybe like 3-4 hours and then you're back. And then you get to enjoy kind of like the city limits there and depending on the port that you're going to. So that's one of the cool things there in Alaska. We're going to take a little break. I'm going to show you this this information that we have for you guys because I love to see if you guys can come along with us. So here it is.
Good afternoon, everybody. We've got an exciting group cruise announcement for you. This time around, it's going to be a very special occasion, as we have managed to get an invite to the inaugural sailing of the one and only MSC World Atlantic. This time around, we'll be sailing out from Port Canaveral in Orlando, Florida on November 13th, 2027. From there, the ship will be docking at Nassau in the Bahamas on the 14th and MSC's private Ocean Cay Marine Reserve on the 15th. After that, there'll be a relaxing day at sea where you can be one of the first people to explore this lovely new ship. On the 17th, they'll be docking in Cozumel, Mexico, followed by Costa Maya in Mexico on the 18th. From there, a single day at sea will be taking you back to Orlando to conclude the inaugural sailing. Be sure to book your cabins quick, as inaugurals like this tend to sell out really fast. You can contact us at jagonzalez@expediacruises.com or call us directly at 813-608-2935. We hope to see you on board with us.
Well, there you guys have it. Hopefully, we get to see you guys on board of the MSC World Atlantic with us. This is our group for next year. So, yeah, let me know if you guys are wanting to do that. But keeping up with Alaska, let's go to Juneau, guys. Let's see what we can do in Juneau, Alaska. Exploring Juneau by booking a Mendenhall Glacier tour to see the ice caves and Nugget Falls. I think that sounds really cool to do. Take a whale watching cruise to the channel, ride the Mountain Robbers tramway, the panoramic views, and discover the titling culture of the Alaska State Museum. So those are some of the things that you can do there in Juneau, Alaska. Their top attractions and activities is glacier adventure, like the hike the East Glacier Loop Trail, or take a helicopter tour to the glacier dog sledding. Wildlife viewing, Joy Echo Tours by Allen Marine Tours to watch thousands of salmon return to the Immaculate Salmon Hatchery. Keep in mind that for the salmon season, I think it's like towards like end of August and September, I think it is. That's when their salmon season is high. Scenic sites, Wonder of the Waterfront by the Breaching Whale sculpture, and visit the inverted flower towers at Glacier Gardens. So if you're looking for something to drink or eat there, or possibly dine downtown, great, grab seafood at Tracy's King Crab Shack by Mexican Korean fusion at V's Cellar Door, and enjoy a craft cocktail in a Magla distillery. If you just want to be out and about, head over to Douglas Island for a pizza in the Island Pub, or enjoy the famous fish taco at Dave's Deckhand. That's if you're going to Juneau. If you are visiting Ketchikan, in Ketchikan, explore the Ketchikan Historic Creek Street, which I've heard a lot about this Creek Street, aboard a build on stills over the water, then soar above Misty Fjords National Monument on a float plane. Oh, that sounds intriguing. As the salmon capital of the world, Ketchikan offers world-class wildlife viewing, indigenous culture, and outdoor rainforest adventures. If you want to immerse yourself a little bit in the local history or culture, Creek Street and Dolly's House wander through the former 1900 red light district. You can tour the Dolly's House Museum, which is very famous there, to see the quirky glimpse into the city. You can actually check out the totem poles, Ketchikan's boasts largest collection in 19th century totem poles in the world, and you can visit Totem Bright States Historical Park. There's a lot of like hiking in that area, so if that's what you're into, make sure you bring some proper shoes for that. You can take it to the air and see. If you do the float plane excursion, booked a Misty Fjords National Monument float plane tour, or fly over the Glacier Caves Valley and granite cliffs in the glassy fjords. Wildlife bear viewing during the late summer salmon runs, and head to the Alaska Rainforest Sanctuary or Neats Bay by the black bears gathering fish. For my husband that loves fish and all of that, he's not going to be able to see the salmon season because we're going, I think, at the end of April, beginning of May. So he won't be able to see the salmon season. But one day I would love to go back to Alaska to check that out so he can be able to see the salmon season, because I've heard a lot of people says it's really kind of cool. And they actually built like some stairs so that they can climb. I don't know how they know about these things, but it's wild, guys. It is just wild to even think about something like that. So let's see what else they have. So action-packed excursion. You got the Lumberjack Show. The Great Alaskan Lumberjack Show features an action-packed 1-hour competition of axe welding and log rolling. The zip lining. I don't know who wants to go zip lining, but soar through the old growth spruce and hemlock trees and guided canopies tours in Ketchikan Zipline Adventure Park. Snorkeling. Yes, guys, you heard me. Snorkeling in that cold water. You're not going to be wearing your bathing suit, obviously, because they'll give you the proper attire because that water is really cold. Get suited up for the Mountain Point Snorkeling Adventure to explore the marine life and the famed Inside Passage. A little bit of dining options and seafood over here in Ketchikan. You can grab. You have the crab feast combined with entertainment and eating with an excursion to George Inlet Lodge, where you can enjoy all you can eat Dungeness crab feast pair with a lumberjack show. Ooh, a lumberjack show. Local eats, you can grab lunch at the docks of Alaska Fish House or fresh fish in the Chips and Chowder for great views and halibut. And you can hike or take a quick taxi up to Cape Fox Lodge. Interesting. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. So a little bit about Sitka, because we're going to go check out Sitka right now. And we're going to see what we can do in this area. Give me a second. Let's see. Okay, so if we go to Sitka, Alaska, it immerse yourself in a nature and a historic, exploring the towering totem poles that we talked about earlier, and meeting rescue brown bears and foresters bears, and things to do in Sitka. Wildlife is the thing to do there, which you're visiting Alaska Raptor Centers. Where they can see rehabilitated bald eagles and birds of prey up close. outdoor adventures, like take the scenic kayaking tour, fishing charters. You can also hike the Indian Rail Trail and the Tongass National Forest to enjoy the tide pooling at Halibut Point State Recreation Area. A little bit about the history and the culture, tour the Russian Bishop House and explore the Sheldon Jackson Museum to learn about the indigenous Russian colonial history. A little bit about the local eats and shopping in that area, coffee and breakfast, grab an artisanal brew and a morning bite of your famous coffee there in Wildflower. Dining, seek the food truck for incredible fish and chips and smoked salmon, mac and cheese for sit down dining, try local seafood at Beak Restaurant. And then you could do a little bit of shopping and exploring there in that area. So as you can see, some of these famous ports of calls are just historic, to say the least. Hold on a second. Hold on. For some reason, I don't know why I just lost all of my information that I have gathered, but here it is. I found it. Okay, so if we go to Skagway, Alaska, it is a highly walkable historic gold rush town. And this is what my husband was talking about in the comments there. He was wanting to know how about gold prospecting. So you go to Skagway, and it's a historical gold rush town. Must do activities riding the vintage White Pass and Yukon Route Railroad, stepping into the lively Red Onion Saloon for a tour, and exploring the free Klondike Gold Rush National Historical Park exhibits. So when you're there, you can ride the scenic railway. The most iconic activity in Skagway is riding the vintage White Pass and Yukon Route Railway, which climbs nearly 3,000 feet through the steep canyons, tunnels, and trestles of the Canadian border. Downtown stroll, wander along the wooden boards of Broadway streets, and admire the restored Gold Rush era building. Check out the Arctic Brother Hall, famous for its vacated 9,000 pieces of driftwood. Catch the show. Experience Skagway Scandalous Pass by grabbing tickets to the Days of the 98 Soapy Smith, an interactive historical play that has been running since 1923. That's a long time, guys. That is a long, long time. Historical hikes, if you want to do more active hike, it is easily the 1.6-mile trail at Yakutania Point of Great Views, or challenge yourself for a rugged stretch of the historic Chillicoot Trail. You have also the wildlife tours. Take the bus excursion over the border of the Yukon to see the Yukon Suspension Bridge, or book a helicopter tour for unforgettable glacier landing and dog sledding experience. I think that is great to do. Like I'm all in for the helicopter thing. I've been thinking about it. I talked to my husband about it. We might be into doing something like that, because that's like one of a kind of a thing to do there in Alaska. If you're looking for something more like free, low-cost activities, the Klondike Gold Rush National Park starts at the Visitor Center and 2nd Avenue to grab your self-guided walk tour map and watch the park free historical films. The Gold Rush Cemetery and Low Reed Falls takes a short scenic walk to the town's historical cemetery to visit the graves of an infamous con man, Soapy Smith, then continues to a short trail to a beautiful Cascadian waterfall. The Pullen Creek Stream Walk, if you're visiting during the summer or fall, take a peaceful stroll along the path near the cruise docks to watch the salmon run. Local museum, visit the Skagway Museum of Archives in the historic Maccabees building to view the tingling and artifacts of rich gold rush mementos. Where can you eat there? Glacier Coffee House. Grab a hot latte, specialty coffee, or a freshly baked pastry before your daily tours. The Klondike Brewing Company, located in the right downtown, is the spot perfect for relaxing with local craft beers, including specialty spruce tips beers unique to Alaska. So, guys, so far we have talked about four of the different ports of calls here in this area. So you know that Juneau is the capital of Alaska. You have Ketchikan, which is the salmon capital of the world. You have Skagway, which is the gold rush history, and other common ports include Sitka, Icy Strait Point, Seward, and Whittier. So it depends how where you're traveling to, how you're getting there. There's also the cruise and tour, land tour, that they offer there, that you can go to the Denali Park. So there's like all sorts of vast of different situations that you can go to Alaska and really do out there. So hopefully, that when you're traveling here to Alaska, it just depends like where do you want to go, what you want to do, what type of expeditions you want to do or excursions you want to take. How many people are traveling with you, whether you're bringing in people, when I'm sorry, not people, children with you. Keep in mind that depending on the cruise line that you're traveling to Alaska, it also depends if these cruise lines have like seminars at sea. And when I say that, I know that Princess and Holland are very good for that, where they bring somebody from that specific area where you're going to be going to or visiting, let's say Ketchikan. So they bring somebody from there and they will talk to you about all sorts of different things in Ketchikan and history and all of that stuff. And if you're into that kind of a thing, then Princess and Holland will be the best thing to do. I know that Disney, sometimes they have that as well. But you have to figure out which ship is the right one for you to visit Alaska. But as you guys know, the number one cruise line to take to Alaska, because they've been doing it for over 75 years, is Holland America. I don't know if you knew that, but Holland America is the number one cruise line for Alaska. Then it's Princess Cruises. Then you have from Princess, you go down to NCL, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Disney. And right now, I think MSC is going to be going up there, and so is Virgin Voyage. So it just depends your vibe. How do you want to vibe going to Alaska? Or if you're that kind of person that you want to submerge yourself into like the Alaskan culture, you want that information and you want to go to those seminars and you want to hear all these people talk about all sorts of the different birds or bears that they have or the whales. Because I did hear in one of the chats that they were having that there's this, I forgot what the name of the whale is, but there's this whale that everybody knows. She's been coming back for many, many years, and she's still, traveling through those waters. So, and I don't know how they know that it's her. I'm not into the whale situation, but they know it's her. So if that's something that you want to learn more about, then, Princess and like I said, Holland America will provide all that information out for you guys. So it just depends, like I said, how you want to travel when you're going to Alaska. So just keep that in mind because every port of call is different. Everything that you're going to do is different. But if you've been to Alaska before and you're like a pro on going to Alaska, you just go because you love the way, it makes you feel and you're happy. I heard that Alaska is one of the most beautiful places to visit. I haven't, like I said, I haven't experienced that, but I do know a lot of my, not only clients, but friends of mine that have gone and they actually go to Alaska every single year. So Alaska must be having something for everybody to just go back and over and over and over again. So keep that in mind when booking your excursions, your things to do, maybe where to stay, and things like that. Because that also, adds up because, you have the cruise, you have the flights, you have the hotels, then you have the excursions, then you have the excursions prior to the cruise. You might want to also check on transportation to and from, possibly check for if you're taking like a later flight, when you return back, maybe you can do like an excursion and then they can take all your bags and drop you off at the airport. That's something that a lot of the cruise lines do offer, if you did not know that. So it just depends, how you guys want to do it or how do you want to do it, So the floor is all open for you guys. If you have guys are watching this and you have any questions in reference to Alaska, then put it in the comments. I would love to see, what you guys got in mind. Keep in mind that tomorrow we do have our Across the Way show. Keith will be back with us tomorrow, as well as Escapades with Jeffy. And tomorrow we're going to be revisiting Seattle. So it's funny that we're talking about Alaska today, but tomorrow in our Across the Way show we're going to be doing the revisit of Seattle. I have never sent a client on an Alaska cruise for less than 8K. I agree with you. So far, it's a very expensive trip to do. I'll be very honest. It just depends. When do you book your cruise? It's going to be the main part of it. When you book it, and then for your flights, try to get your flights as soon as they drop. Always get travel insurance, to make sure that, you guys are well, insured when it comes to that, even though that you're going to be in the United States and things like that. It's always good to have travel insurance. But I do agree with Scott, make sure that, because it is a very costly going to Alaska, even if you're taking 2, 3, or 4 people to Alaska, it is a very costly to go there, because you have not only the cruise, you got to fly there, and you got to at least stay the night before. I don't suggest that you fly the day of the cruise, because if that flight gets canceled, there goes your cruise. And, and insurance is not going to pay for that cost either. So keep that in mind. Make sure you guys read your insurance policy before you purchase. Today I was hearing Tony. He was talking about a lady that something happened on a cruise. I don't know what, something happened on her. I think I don't know what exactly happened on the cruise, and she had travel insurance, and she was trying to get. Oh, I think that somebody stole her glasses and her phone or something like that, and she was trying to put a claim through the insurance, and the insurance didn't want to pay it, because they don't do, they don't pay things that are lost, like, kind of like lost like that. So, but the cruise line was not on the contract. Like the cruise itself was not part of that contract that she burst. So I guess at the end of the day, they paid the lady back like $2,600 back out of the 4,000 something that she was looking for of the loss that she had. So keep in mind that when purchasing travel insurance, that you read everything, that your travel insurance, that is perfect for what you need, because not all travel insurance are the same. They're all different, and they all provide different scenarios and different things of what you need. So not just because you're saying I'm purchasing a travel insurance, you might be surprised what it will cover and not cover. So keep that in mind when purchasing travel insurance. Travel insurance will not, you can do a claim if it was your fault. Like if you forgot your passport at home and you live 4 hours away, and now you can even come back home to pick it up, and you now can't sail, then even if you have travel insurance, they're not going to, you can put a claim on that to get your money back. The cruise line won't even give you your money back either, because that's a thing that it was on your behalf and on your fault. So keep that in mind when purchasing travel insurance, that not everything is travel insurance claim. If you can say, you cannot put a claim on everything. So make sure that when you're traveling and you're traveling with your parents or your children, make sure that you have all the information that you need for everybody. Make sure that you check in ahead of time, guys. Make sure that when you're checking in, you're reading what you're doing. Always, like I said, always look at the confirmation. Always double check your names, your dates of birth, things like that, because any little thing that is wrong in your reservation can mess up there in your port area. So keep that in mind, especially if you're going to Alaska and you're doing flights. Make sure that the name on those flight tickets are the same name showing if you're using your passport to travel or your driver's license. Make sure that it matches your full name, because that's also a situation where a lot of people put first name and last name, but on the passport it was something completely different. And then you show up to the airline and it's not matching the information, and then you're having a hard time trying to check in and get into that flight that you're going to. So keep in mind that all the little things that you may not or maybe possibly know, Just make sure that you have everything situated. Always make sure you check everything a couple of times before you head out on your vacation. You don't want to be, stressed out because you left a document or something was wrong. And it was, because for us, and Scott is here because he's also a travel advisor, we have a cutoff time to switch, to change names, to fix different things. We had a cutoff time. So our cutoff time, I always tell everybody, is 2 days ahead. And that's like pushing it because they do close what is called the manifest on these cruise ships. And once it's closed, there's nothing that we can do to switch it or change it. So keep that in mind. That's why if you purchased something months ago or weeks ago or whatever, always make sure that on the day that you receive that confirmation from either the cruise line, if you're purchasing it directly from the cruise line, or from a travel advisor, make sure that all the names, birthdays, everything is correct, because that's going to, you don't want to have a stress on the day that you're either checking in, because you're checking in the night before and you're rushing through everything. Oh my God, now my name is incorrect or a birthday is not right. Then it's going to become a problem for you. And it's your vacation, guys. You guys are going to Alaska. You don't want to have all these different situations in Alaska. And another recommendation that I do give, no different than when you're traveling by plane, you're supposed to be there at least 2 hours ahead of time if it's domestic, and 3 hours if it's international. Guys, cruise line are the same. Just because the cruise leaves at 4 don't mean that you're going to show up at 3:45 and think you're going to get on that ship. You got to show up at least no later than 2 or 2:30, unless specified by the cruise line that you need to show up at a time after that 2 o'clock time. If the cruise line tells you they're running late and they send you a text message, show up at 5, 6, 7 or whatever, then that's a difference. But other than that, just because the cruise line says it's departing at 4 does not mean that you're showing up at 3:45, guys, because you will say goodbye to that cruise and they're going to leave without you. And the people in there, they're not even going to know that you're down there waiting, and you're going to be waving out to the cruise line, because it has happened. Believe it or not, guys, it has happened. So you don't want to be stuck in Seattle, Vancouver, saying goodbye to your ship because you didn't have all your ducks on a row. Not your ducks on a row, guys. So that's another tip for you guys. Make sure that since you guys are going to be traveling far away, whether to Vancouver or Canada in this scenario, make sure that you bring all your necessary medication, that you don't forget your medication, that you pack up your little backpack. Make sure that in your backpack, you have all the medication. Never put the medication that you need in your luggage, because if your luggage gets lost, guess what? All your medication will too. So keep your medication together with you at all times. All the necessary documents, things that are personal to you, like jewelry, money, and all of that stuff, in a little backpack. It goes with you everywhere. And that way you don't have to worry about that if your luggage gets lost or stolen or whatever. At least you have something to rely on. One of the things that I always tell my clients, I don't know if anybody else may think about this, a change of clothes is always good to put in your backpack, just for the simple reason that if your luggage gets lost or stolen, you at least have something to rely back on, and you're not worried that you only have what you have on that day. Because I don't know how many of you guys have seen it, but there has been instances where luggages have been lost and they don't make it on the ship. Not all the time. It's very rare that happens, but it has happened. But if you're traveling to Vancouver or Seattle and your luggage gets stolen, or it gets lost and it doesn't make it to you on time, and you got to get on that ship, then at least you have something in your backpack. Maybe a 1 day attire, or 2 days, however which way you want to do it to be on the safe side. Especially if you're traveling with the little ones, you want to make sure that you have extra of anything just in case. If you're in the Caribbean, guys, then bring your bathing suit, an extra, pair of shorts or shirt, in your backpack. Because embarkation, they can be a little bit hectic, guys. And it's going to be hectic no matter whether you're leaving out of Seattle or Alaska. It's going to be hectic. Just pack your patience, be prepared, for that embarkation. Just know that you're going on your vacation. Once you step foot on the ship, you're going to be on vacation. You can breathe, guys. You can breathe. Because I know embarkation can be a little It'll be a little bit stressful embarkation day, guys. No doubt about it. So, hopefully, you guys are enjoying this show. I wanted to do something different for Alaska season in Vancouver because, we are in the Alaska season time. Besides that, we are also in the Caribbean time where all of our kiddos are out of school and enjoying their vacation. And talking about a vacation, I'm not going to go on vacation, but I'm going to be traveling to Puerto Rico end of this week. I'm going to be visiting my dad over there for a full week in San Juan, well, in Puerto Rico, and we're going to be trying other. I'm looking for different places to try this time and bring you guys along with me. And yeah, we're going to go all different places in Puerto Rico. I'm going to be vlogging over there, our different experiences. I'm trying to figure out what kind of vlog I want to do because I'm not going to do like a daily vlog. I'm going to do one vlog that is going to have kind of like everything, all the different places that we've been to or went to at that time. And I've been researching like foods, like different types of Puerto Rico cool things to do. One of the things that my daughter wants to do is she wants to go jet skiing over there. So we might be doing something like that. I just got to find a place and see how much it's going to cost and if we have to make a reservation or things like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun visiting my dad again. So I might do a live stream from over there. You never know. I like to pop up when people don't realize. Hopefully you guys are enjoying our show here on Tuesday. Guys, like last week I was talking about we're thinking, well, I am thinking of doing a Spanish show. So it's going to be 1 week English and 1 week Spanish. I'm working on that for this time at 7 p.m. And it'll probably be the first week is going to be English, second week is going to be Spanish, because I do have to cater for my Spanish community, and I'm going to try and see how does that go with the Spanish community, and see, if we can grow the channel also that way. So as you guys know, I am a bilingual person. I am from Puerto Rico, for those of you that did not know. So I am actually originated and birthed in Puerto Rico. And yeah, I gotta bring some flavor, some Spanish flavor to the channel, to my people. And hopefully let's see how that works. My goal is to do the channel, the show, I'm sorry, to do the show with Jeffy from Escapades with Jeffy. We're going to be doing the show in Spanish. We are working to see what the name of the show is going to be and what type of content we're going to bring. I know it's going to be in cruising and travel, but in Spanish. If you guys want to listen to the show, you guys can, because it'll have caption in English and, you guys can still enjoy it. But yeah, it's going to be all Spanish talk, no English. So you can always hear it, like I said, in captions in English if you guys wish. But that's something that I've been thinking about for a while. Oh my God, Scott, that is too funny. And I hear you. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's been something that Jeffy and I have been talking about for a little while. And it's going to be on this show. And because I was thinking about Across the Wave, maybe doing 1 week on and 1 week off. But we're going to leave Across the Way the way it is, because we're also going to be changing Across the Way. It's going to be more of a kind of like a more podcast kind of thing. So it's going to be all of us together. We're going to talk about different things of the different ports of call. It's going to be a different way of doing that show. So we're going to be revamping that show. But I wanted to do a little bit of flavor here and in the Tuesday show. And I think going back to kind of like my roots and speaking my language is going to be a lot of fun. I'm hoping my channel will grow in that perspective, because I'm trying to also reach the Hispanic part of the community, and bring in kind of like more leads and more work from the Spanish community, because I do a lot of different things. A lot of my clients are mainly Hispanic, weirdly so. And I'm like, you know what? I could do a Spanish show. It'll be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit of a different vibe. And I'm definitely looking forward to doing that project and see how that evolves on it. I know that when it comes to this channel, I think for like a couple of weeks, I didn't do the show here, so it's been a little bit slow. I guess the people that used to watch this show, it's been a little bit slow. But now that I'm picking it back up, and I'm gonna try to make sure that every Tuesday we have a show, and hopefully once I integrate, I'm sorry, the Spanish show into it, that's when I will see which one is gonna be doing a little bit on the better side, because I'm trying to figure out how to better the channel, how to grow it when it comes to the live streaming part of it. So I'm trying to put some flavor into travel adventures, and flavor we're going to put, trust and believe. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Jeffy and I, we get along very well. We know, we do a lot of travel, and it's going to be quite a bit of fun interacting with Jeffy in a Hispanic way. So so guys, you got to stay tuned. And yeah, so for right now, we have Across the Wave tomorrow. We're going to be in the port of Seattle tomorrow at 8 p.m. on Across the Wave. And we're going to welcome back Keith, and Jeffy is going to be with us tomorrow. What else do I have? We leave on Friday to Puerto Rico. So I might be doing a live streaming from over there so that we can show you a little bit about the island and different places that we go. So that's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys, because a lot of people say, oh, I go to San Juan on a cruise. That's not going to Puerto Rico. Oh, San Juan is like a little speck. That's all it is. It's a little speck right there. But you got to go to the island to really see Puerto Rico for what it really is. The island is beautiful. It has a lot to offer. It has many beaches, like beautiful beaches that you probably will never see someplace else. I've been thinking about probably going to maybe two of them that it hasn't been on the channel just yet. So I'm probably going to be doing that. We probably have to like drive a little bit to get there, but we're going to get there, guys. And we're going to bring it all to you guys, because it's a lot of fun when you go around the island and you get to try and taste all sorts of different things. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully you guys will like that content for sure. But in the meantime, guys, hopefully you guys enjoy the show today. It's all about Alaska season. We talked about Seattle and Vancouver. Thank you guys for being here with me today. I appreciate all of you guys that are, watching the show. Make sure you hit that like button, to let YouTube know that you enjoy the show. If you're watching the repeat or the replay, please let me know that you watched the replay. Give me a feedback on Alaska, guys. I'm going to Alaska, and I would like to know, what do you think? What did you like? What did you not like? What should I do in Alaska? I don't know. I've never been. So if you've been to Alaska, let me know what you did. Give me some feedback, because I would like to because my family is coming along with me to Alaska, and I want to have a great time. I know my husband would love to have a great time in Alaska, along with Jaden and Sophie. So this is going to be another family trip, and it's going to be great and fabulous. In the meantime, guys, I love you guys all to the moon and back. May God bless each and every one of you guys. And I will see you tomorrow on Across the Wave at 8 p.m. And we're going to be talking about the port of Seattle. So don't miss that out. And I will see you mañana. Ta-ta for now. Toodaloo. Love you all. Bye-bye.